guys, how are you doing? Welcome to today's video. So I'm coming to you from the future. I am uploading this video in between past videos that I have already scheduled to be uploaded. The reason I'm doing that is because I feel like so much has happened and it hasn't really happened on this channel yet, and everyone's a little confused. Hi, we are officially going to be trying for baby number 4. We are still on the road, and it sounds kind of crazy initially, but it's something that has been on Dan and I's hearts for a while now. We've been talking a lot about it, and I wanted to put together this video, allow you all to ask me some questions, for me to sort of fill you guys in on our thought process and the things we've kind of been doing behind the scenes, and that way you can kind of come on board with us during this journey again. It has just been on my heart that I feel like there's another little baby out there that is just meant to be. So yes, hello, woohoo! We are officially trying for baby number 4. We are officially going to be expanding our family. We've actually already officially been TTC this whole month. I currently just finished my period, so I am on cycle day 4 as of right this second, and I'm going to be including in our videos now not only travel and having fun with our family, but I'm also going to be sharing with you guys just what I'm doing to try to conceive, try to get my body back to being more regulated. We'll talk all about that in a little bit. And yes, because I'm coming to you from the future, I cut my hair, and I don't know if the next video that's gonna go live after this, if I had cut my hair yet. So this is gonna be a little strange for you guys. But I wanted to get this out as soon as possible because it seemed like there was some confusion. Anyway, I'm rambling. On Instagram, I have been documenting everything. I've been very open with you guys on there. If you're not following me, it's lex.fitzgerald. Q&A, TTC questions. So we're gonna this is my first time looking at these questions. Someone said, what sparked baby number 4 so quickly? So to you all, it might feel like it was quick, but in reality, we started trying for Willa when I was 9 months postpartum, and when Cooper was 9 months, so it's the exact same timeline there. I think there's this whole component of social media that sometimes gets forgotten, and that is that Dan and I are living our lives behind the scenes. So we are having conversations that aren't happening on camera, or that are not getting posted to any social media, and we've been having a conversation about what is in our hearts and the feelings that we have towards growing our family, and we both feel very, very pulled to having a 4th child. And we keep saying how this baby must be a trailblazer because, like, we just, I don't know, it's not even baby fever. I just feel like this pull. That's how we describe it. And we've been feeling that since I was about 4 months postpartum. So that's when we started having the conversation again, like, growing our family, what would that possibly look like? What would that timeline hopefully look like? And we knew that we'd be going on this trip, and we didn't want to make any decisions for or against growing our family until we had sort of gotten a grasp on full-time travel with children as young as the kids that we have. For those of you who are coming into this video and you don't know much about our family, we have a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 9-month-old baby. And now that we are a couple months into traveling, it could not be easier, I don't think. Like, it has, my children are flourishing. Our relationship, Dan and I's relationship is flourishing. It's just incredible. I don't know how to explain it. We're able to naturally just integrate homeschooling into our children's life. We're learning all day, every day. We're exploring, we're going on adventures, we're slowing down and, you know, cuddling and hugging each other and watching awesome movies together, and, you know, going for walks and looking in the dirt and all, you know, just things like that. We're just living our lives, and we are having such an incredible time. And the only thing now that does feel missing is, 1, our forever home in our forever state, and 2, this just feeling that we both have. And it's not just Dan and I. Cooper and Willa have been asking us for a sibling. I know that sounds silly. Obviously, we'd never make any big life decisions based off of what our 4-year-old and 3-year-old ask for, but they do genuinely ask for another baby, another sibling. And I know you guys believe me because you saw how Cooper was when we brought Sawyer home. You know, he was stroking his head and he looked up at me and he goes, "Thank you, Mommy, for making this beautiful baby." So Cooper has so much compassion and kindness in his heart, and Willa is just such a mommy. She's just so loving and affectionate and caring. They both love it. They love having Sawyer. They all look for each other the second one of them wakes up. And Dan and I just feel in our hearts that it's just time. I can't explain it. It is just time. So somebody said, do you worry about another ICP pregnancy? Anything you can do to try and avoid, and that they're in the same boat. So if you're not familiar with my past pregnancy, I was diagnosed with ICP, which is cholestasis of pregnancy, is I believe how you pronounce it. But basically it's when your bile acids increase to a high amount, and it can be very dangerous for your baby past 37 weeks. So there's new studies coming out all the time, but basically the way that you not the way that you diagnose, but the way that you like prevent anything bad from happening is you will get induced at 37 weeks, and that is exactly what happened for me. Now, the reason why my ICP situation was so scary and nerve-wracking was because I only found out about it at 36 weeks pregnant, basically. So I basically got diagnosed at like 35 weeks and 4 days or something along those lines, and the goal is to be induced from 36 weeks to 37 weeks, so to not go past 37 weeks. And then on top of that, there's this issue in the United States, it could be worldwide, I don't know, but to get your bile acids back, oftentimes, if you're not in like an in-house lab, oftentimes if they have to send it out, it takes a long time. It takes like almost a week to get those results. So I didn't have time. We didn't have time for that. So basically we had to kind of rush through the process and keep monitoring the baby because we didn't have any definitive numbers to go by. Now when my numbers came back, I was able to get diagnosed with it. And honestly, they were diagnosing me with it even before my numbers had officially come back. And this is a conversation that I've already had with my midwives about this new potential pregnancy. So one of the people that we had to contact to figure out how this would work is obviously my birthing center. And we would have to figure out exactly, one, how would we go about giving me the adequate prenatal care that I and my baby deserve? And two, what would happen in like an ICP situation, right? And without going into too much detail, because there's a few moving parts right now, especially with us figuring out exactly where we're going to plant our roots forever. If I get pregnant next month, right, this month basically, if I get pregnant this cycle, I'm only going to be back wherever it is that we choose to live when I am under 30 weeks pregnant. So I will still be in my second trimester when we get situated. So we knew in the back of our minds, like, oh, okay, all the times that we'd have to frequently be going to the doctor will be when we're already stationary. All of the more scarier times closer to when I would deliver, if I did have ICP, all the times we definitely want to be getting my blood work monitored, etc., will all be when I'm already stationary. We will not be on the road still at that point. So basically, even if I get pregnant, even if I'm pregnant right this second, we still will not be on the road anywhere near the third trimester. Now, I don't know if somebody asked me this question, but I'm going to answer it really quickly because I'm sure it's on your mind. How prenatal care is going to probably look for me. When I get pregnant, I am going to be pregnant, and then at the 10-week mark, I'm going to fly back. Wherever we are, it doesn't matter. I'm going to fly back to my birthing center. I'm going to get genetic testing done. I'm going to get a dating scan done, and anything else that I need to get done for those like initial, few weeks. The reason we're waiting until 10 weeks is so that I can get that genetic testing done. And then the reason that we are not waiting even longer is because we want it to be soon enough where I can actually get a dating scan. We can kind of just, you know, make sure everything is good and going smoothly. Then I will not go back for prenatal care in person until that 20-week mark. So in reality, I will be there at about 10 to 11 weeks, right? So 4 weeks later is 14 to 15 weeks. So that one appointment in the middle of the 2 appointments, that one appointment, I'm just going to have a televisit, which is what I had majority of the time with Sawyer's pregnancy, was televisits. So I know how to do the fetal monitor myself. I know how to take my blood pressure. I am a medical assistant. I am a phlebotomist. I did go to nursing school. I do know how to do these things. I do feel comfortable doing these things because, one, I've always had great blood pressure. I've never had any type of preeclamptic like scares or anything like that. Obviously things can change pregnancy to pregnancy, but I feel confident, Dan feels confident, and my midwives feel confident that it's an appointment that I just don't have to be present for. And if that changes, I hop on a flight and I go to the appointment. It's as simple as that. That one appointment I'm just going to have over a video instead of going into the appointment. And then the next appointment would be my anatomy scan, which I obviously have to go to, or at least I want to go to. I will be having an anatomy scan. And then I'm either going to fly back, or depending on when I get pregnant, if it's not this month, but it's the next month, I will already be stationary where I am. So basically in this entire situation, I'm just going to be missing one appointment. It seems like I would be like having my pregnancy on the road, right? And I kind of will be. I'll be having half my pregnancy practically on the road. Once you sit down and actually look at the dates, look at my cycle, look at like the pregnancy, you kind of realize like, oh, that's not that bad. One televisit. And then when it comes to ICP, what we're going to do is at that first appointment, I'm going to get my blood drawn for my bile acids then, so that we have sort of like a baseline to go by. If I start to have itching, then we will test. Once I reach 30 weeks pregnant, we're going to continue testing my bile acids at every appointment. That way we can just kind of keep an eye on my bile acids, just kind of make sure that we always have the information that we need and that we don't get caught in a situation that we had last time where I wasn't really able to know for certain if this was something that we had to do. It was a lot of guessing. So while we're on this topic, autoimmune disease and pregnancies, thoughts, how you're planning, hopeful. So this is a non-issue at all. So I am currently in the process of getting diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. I don't know exactly what it is. My test came back like elevated for scleroderma. I don't think I have that, like just in my gut. I really think my family has history of rheumatoid arthritis. I think that's what I have. I mean, knock on wood, I haven't had any joint pain since I stopped breastfeeding, like any joint pain. I have felt incredible. I don't know why that is. I think my hormones play a part in my joint pain. And I think that I've just been doing a really good job of like eating healthy and kind of staying in remission with whatever I do actually have. When I spoke to my rheumatologist, because obviously the conversation came up that like I'm in my childbearing years, I'm in the middle of growing our family, like when we want to have another baby, what is that going to look like? And she was like, do not worry. She was like, you are on no medication right now. Your symptoms are completely manageable. And oftentimes when it comes to autoimmune diseases, women who get pregnant, usually they go into remission because their immune system is suppressed while pregnant, which means my body is not attacking itself as much as it normally would. So she said, by all means, you can get pregnant whenever you would like to. The only time that we have to have a conversation about pregnancy is when I'm on medication. And because I am not on any medication right now, she said, congratulations, have fun, have a baby, and that's that. No question, wishing you the best. Thank you. You once said that it would be unfair to be pregnant while traveling. What made you change your mind? I don't remember saying that. If I did say that, I probably was just saying for myself, like it would be unfair for me to not feel well and not be able to like experience all of this. I was under the impression that this was going to be like very hard to do, to travel with young kids, and we just have a blast. Like I don't want to sound like obnoxious, you know, but we do. We have a great time. I feel like our lives are actually way easier now than they once were when we were stationary. If I did say that, which I'm sure I did at some point or another, we changed our minds. And that's because this trip was a lot easier than we ever would have expected. You know, as I'm reading these questions, a lot of them are general TTC questions, and I really, really want to be able to sit down and make a video about how I go about the whole TTC process, and from like the different prenatal vitamins that I take or supplements that I take to the type of tests that I like to buy, and like the schedule that I like to follow, the mindset that I like to have. I think all of that would do much better in another video. So for this video, I feel like I'm going to actually end it here. I'm sure you still have a lot of questions specifically for our situation, and I'm more than happy to answer them down below if you would like to write them there. But yeah, Dan and I, we just have decided that this is what is right for our family. And just keep in mind, guys, that there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes. We've sort of navigated our trip, we've changed it slightly, we have extended it, then we've shortened it. We have kind of figured out, after traveling to the places that we have so far, we've kind of figured out where home is going to be and feels for us. There's a lot that like we haven't really like publicly shared just yet, but we also have to like protect our safety and like our privacy. So just know, if you're sitting here and you're kind of like doing math and you're thinking to yourself like, you know, maybe some of it doesn't make sense what I said, just know that like behind the scenes we have a plan, and we're going to share that with you as things sort of unfold. My cycle right now is super weird and very long for my body. I usually have a 26 day cycle. It's been around 30 days. I don't even feel like I'm ovulating. And on top of that, my cycle, my actual period length has been really sporadic. So it's been like 3 days, and then it's been 7 full days. So I've been sort of like protecting my heart and sort of preparing myself for this not to be how it normally has been for us. Normally we've gotten pregnant very quickly. It always actually has been the second cycle. That's always been like the cycle for us to get pregnant. And yeah, I don't know, I kind of have that feeling in my gut that it's going to take a little bit longer than that, just because my body's still kind of regulating and shifting after I stopped breastfeeding. But that is it. I just wanted to do this little update for you to sort of fill you guys in and bring you along on this journey with us. But we are so excited, and it just feels so right, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to share with Cooper and Willa that I have another baby in my belly, and like, oh my goodness, they are going to be so excited. So excited. But I do have a lot of other questions here that are just general TTC questions. I am going to put into another video. I might do it on this channel. I might actually put that video on my other channel, which is Live Laugh Flex. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for always supporting our family and for always being so excited when we decide that we are going to expand it. I cannot wait. Bye guys.